format for the Bathurst Race Club. And we've only seconds ago been able to talk to our bookmaker and committee man Wayne Gannon, who's been dealing with the scratchings and trying to get himself sorted for the day. And he's come up with a couple of attention getters this morning that he thought might perform reasonably well this afternoon at the Big Eagle Farm meeting in Brisbane. He started off in race 1 with number 3, Senor Fox. Race 1, number 3. He then went to race 4, number 4, Victorum. Race 4, number 4. And race 5, he then liked the top weights, Ring-a-ding-ding. Race 5, number 1. And he finished his day in the big Strandberg handicap with race 8, number 16, Encryption. Race 8, number 16. Now, just mention in passing, those selections for both Wayne Gannon and local trainer Shane Galinsky will be posted up very shortly on our Facebook page. So if you haven't got the details from our broadcast this morning, we've gone too quickly for you. Those selections and attention getters will be up on the Facebook site for this program, facebook.com/Racing Radio Show, very shortly. Shane Galinsky last night came up with a bracket of selections. Wayne, I should mention, last week had a winner and a second out of his selections, and Shane had one of his selections was scratched, but of the remaining 4, he managed a winner at 5-1 in the last race. He left his run a bit late, but it was the last race in Melbourne that he picked the winner for that particular race. And today he drew attention to a few that he thought might perform reasonably well. And he started off in Brisbane with 3 selections there. Race 3, number 6, Nicanova. Race 3, number 6. Race 7, number 5, Savvy Oak. Race 7 in Brisbane, number 5, Savvy Oak. Then he liked in the last race of the day, number 12, one of his old favourites, Igrain. Race 9, number 12. He then went to Sydney for race 4, where he liked the top weight, Ducan. There was a selection in the previous week that was scratched, so he stuck with that today. In race 4 in Sydney, the top weight, Ducan. He then finished his day in Melbourne in race 8 with number 3, Hell of a Street. Race 8, number 3 in Melbourne. And today, of course, is Queensland's biggest race day today. It's a massive carnival, massive part of the Queensland Winter Racing Carnival, the Stradbroke Brisbane Cup Day today. It makes a huge impact on the state economy. The main race of the day is the Stradbroke Handicap. It's the biggest race in the Queensland racing calendar, and $1.5 million prize money in that race today. And it was first run in 1890, would you believe? It's been running for 129 years. And the Brisbane Cup and the Derby have been running even longer. 1866, so the first Brisbane Cup, 153 years of history going around there at Eagle Farm today. The program comprises 3 Group 1 races, 3 Group 2 races, and 3 listed races, all black type races. They're the types of race the owners, trainers and breeders must win to give their equine horses an opportunity to perform in a stud career. It's pretty necessary to see one of those black type races in the history of the performances. We've even got a couple of Bathurst representatives going around in that massive day at Eagle Farm today. The results for the past week from the Bathurst training facilities, we had 42 runners during the last week, spread around the spread far and wide actually in southeast Queensland and Northern Rivers. There's some good results coming in. We had 4 winners, 3 seconds, 2 thirds and a 4th out of those runners, and it started off at Gatton last Saturday with the second and third in one race there. Charlie Cat for Greg Cornish and Incision for Ben Robinson, and Darlene Giray managed a minor prize money 4th at that Gatton meeting on Saturday last. Lismore saw 2 very good wins for local horses. Drops of Jupiter for Ben Aarons and Dances with Time for Ross Howard. Ross was running hot at the moment. He's Dances with Time followed its recent win at Bow Desert, with a second win in a row for Dances with Time, ridden by local lady jockey Brooke Ainsworth. A very great result there for the Bow Desert interest at that Lismore meeting during the week. And the Murwillumbah on Sunday last, that was Queensland Day, by the way, we saw Come Alive, trained by Jeff Hardy in the winner's circle there. Jeff's horse led pretty well all the way, and just last had won by the narrowest of margins. A very good result, because that particular race had a breeders and owners bonus attached to it. So a very good result for Jeff Hardy there at Murwillumbah last Sunday. And Ben Robinson managed the second at that same Murwillumbah meeting with Bobby Axelrod. Dolby on Thursday saw a mixed day. We had another winner's circle result there with Alexandra for Bo Gorman in the winner's circle. The first for Alexandra. The second there for Dutch Gal from Bobby Mann. Bobby got second with Dutch Gal. And We Wanted All, trained by James Hepworth, ran third. That was a pretty unlucky third for James. He had no luck in running. He missed the start. Did We Wanted All, and also ran wide all the way, but still managed to run third. And I feel sorry there for Kelvin Hickmont at that Dolby meeting last Thursday, because Kelvin got all the way to Dolby, got his horse off of the track, got his horse to the barrier, and then it was scratched at the barrier. Wasn't able to run for some reason there. Obviously an incident at the barrier. So Kelvin made that trip to Dolby for no outcome whatsoever. And it's one of those frustrating things that trainers encounter with the trying to get these horses into the races and get them past the post. Anyway, out of that selection of results, we've got a star. We usually have a star of the week. Well, this week I'm going to say we've got 4 stars of the week, because Ben Aarons, Ross Howard, Bo Gorman and Jeff Hardy all had spectacular wins, and a very commendable performance there by those 4 trainers, getting those results for their owners during the course of the week. It continues, of course, today with travellers going in all directions and meetings at the Gold Coast, Eagle Farm. There's even meetings at Gayndah and Injune and Toowoomba. There's meetings everywhere. And we've got travellers going to some of those meetings today. It continues at the Sunshine Coast tomorrow, and then on Monday at Ballina, and then Wednesday at Doomben, and Friday again at Toowoomba. So there's a heap of racing coming up, which will be well patronised by the representatives from the Bow Desert training facilities. At Eagle Farm today, it's great to see a couple of Bow Desert runners at that massive carnival race at Eagle Farm today. In race 4, Matthew John Dunn. He was only 4th emergency in that race, but he gets after early scratching yesterday at number 22. He gets a run with Bow Arrow, race 4, number 22, trained by Matthew John Dunn locally. And in the 9th race in the Brisbane Cup, we've got Ben Aarons racing Chillin' with Dylan. So all the best to those 2 trainers who are taking on the top national company there today in that big Brisbane meeting. Big contingent going to the Gold Coast this afternoon, and that Gold Coast meetings now are also very well patronised by the Southern trainers. Massive array of Southern trainers represented at the Gold Coast, and the Bow Desert representatives going to the Gold Coast today start off in race 1 with the Good and the Bad, trained by Glenn Baker. In race 2, that's race 1, number 6. In race 2, we've got 4 representatives. Olus Bolus for Ben Robinson, that's number 1. Number 2, Ponderosa for Ben Aarons. Race 2, number 6 then, Round of Applause for Ray Litton. And in the same race, race 2, Sir Earlston, trained also by Ben Robinson, with 2 representatives in that race. So very competitive there. In the 2nd race at the Gold Coast. In the 5th race, we've got Jimmy Neutron, trained by Jeff Dunn, to be ridden by Brooke Ainsworth. Good Bow Desert interest there. In that same race, we've got number 12, which is only an emergency, for Mexican Yell, trained by Ben Robinson. They could be lucky enough to get a start, these runners. Another emergency in that race is I Race Beth, trained by Ben Robinson. In the 6th race, Ben had Champagne Rock in that race, but I understand that's already a scratching. And Greg Cornish is in the 6th race with number 4, Odd Bellow. Some great desert interest there. And in the 6th race also, Greg Cornish also had Temujin's Moon in that race, but that's also been scratched. That probably indicates that those scratchings from that race will race at Ballina on Monday, in all probability. In the 7th race, at the Gold Coast today, Leon Phillips, a private trainer for local businessman Michael Crooks, is represented by number 5, Mashani El Lobo, race 7, number 5, and Leon is also represented there in the 8th race at the Gold Coast with Mashani Bullet. All of Michael Crooks' horses, or most of them, bear that Mashani identity, and those are the 2 that are going around at the Gold Coast this afternoon. As we turn the pages, we've got the continuing tonight in Toowoomba. A nice cold night up there. Race 6, Laurie Richardson's heading up there with for a first start for Silver Plana. Race 6, number 3. In that same race, number 13, Graham Blake throws red lines, and we can't be certain whether that will get a run, but race 6, number 13, trained by Graham Blake, red lines, is likely to be in Toowoomba tonight if it can get a run. In the 7th race, we've got Elite Label, trained by Bo Gorman, number 5. In the same race, we've got a couple of emergencies. Spirit of Eden, trained by Laurie Richardson, and that's number 11, and number 12, Mr. Magnetic, trained by Gary Hutchison. You've got to acknowledge that the effort these trainers put into these horses and get into the races. Those blokes going to Toowoomba tonight, it's a night meeting. They won't finish their racing until after 8 o'clock, and by the time they're up and ready to come home, by the time they get to bed tonight, the likes of Laurie Richardson and Gary Hudson will be well after midnight. The effort they put into their owners to get these horses to run involves an enormous amount of work, and they've got to be recognised, because it's a long day after having been at track work at goodness knows what time this morning, and not finishing up till after midnight tonight when they get back from Toowoomba. It continues at Ballina, big meeting at Ballina on Monday, and Ben Aarons is heading down there with King of the Desert in the 2nd race. Matthew John Dunn has also got Somebody Loves You in that same race. In the 3rd race, Ben Robinson, I Race Beth, Jan Pritchard with Paddles, Mexican Yell, trained by Ben Robinson also, and Jeff Hardy's heading to Ballina with Ignite the Magic. So big representation in that race. 3rd race at Ballina. Ben Robinson's in the 4th race with Solitary Rose, and again in the 5th race with Champagne Rock, which we can presume will start after being scratched today. Greg Cornish is also in that 5th race after scratching today. He'll probably hit the Ballina on Monday in the 5th race with Greg Cornish with Temujin's Moon. Ben Aarons is in the 6th race with Fantasy. This is all at Ballina. Ben Robinson with Loardi. And in the 7th race, we've got Greg Cornish again with that speedy short distance performer at his high cost. And in the 8th race, the last race at Ballina, we've got big representation there. Don Pearson with Nobby's Gift, Ben Robinson with Relative Direction, and Ben Aarons with both Lucky Fix and Sylvester. So great interest for the Bay Desert performers there in that last race at Ballina on Monday. And as we turn more pages, it continues tomorrow for the Sunday meeting at the Sunshine Coast. Sees Kerry Bowman heading up there with Lindretto, and also that's in the 6th race. Send Us a Sign in the 7th race for Ray Litton, and in race 8, Jan Pritchard heading to the Sunshine Coast with Out for Justice. So some tremendous upcoming performances listed there for those desert horses, and hopefully when they talk again next Saturday morning, we'll have some good results to report on there. Important race dates coming up for the diary. We've got this massive June the 22nd, Saturday 22nd of June, Bay Desert Cup Day. The Gold Coast Turf Club, promoting the meetings for the Bay Desert Race Club, is making a big project of that Bay Desert Cup Day on the 22nd of June. It should be a great day's racing at Bow Desert on that day. In July, we see Saturday the 27th of July with the following meeting. 27th of July, Saturday. It continues in August on the 22nd of August. That's a Thursday meeting. And the Thursday meeting on the 22nd of August will be a midweek TAB meeting there. Some of these country tracks have got an extensive coverage on our Facebook site, a tremendous amount of information on our Facebook site, including a link to a lot of other sites that give tremendous information and background to both the local Bow Desert training and racing facility, as well as a lot of other country tracks, such as that 8JUN meeting today, which is a massive carnival meeting today at 8JUN. No Bow Desert runners, but it's interesting to see the country tracks getting a mention in this Facebook site for this program. One very interesting feature is the publication of the racing colours for all the Bow Desert horses that are racing everywhere today and in their future commitments. The colours for the Bow Desert horses are all featured on that Facebook site as well. So a lot of information there, both in relation to the industry and local racing, and also there's a lot of the rules and regulations recited there on that site as well. That's facebook.com/racing radio show, and also get a lot of information about the Bow Desert activities from the Bow Desert Race Club website. I should mention that massive Stradbroke Brisbane Cup Day today will be covered free to air on Channel 7 network. One of the Channel 7 network stations will be broadcasting the Eagle Farm meeting today. They give a very professional coverage of that meeting, and that will be available as free to air for anybody who has got the Foxtel Sky Racing channels. So with that, I think we've mentioned most of the things we want to talk about. Hopefully this time next Saturday morning we'll be able to discuss some good results coming out of all that activity today, and we'll do the usual sign-off ronda by thanking the listeners for having us at their place and thanking you for getting us to air, and we'll talk to you again at the same time next Saturday morning.